If there's one word to describe how to execute great relay exchanges, that word is momentum. The more momentum swimmers can create on the blocks and the more they can direct it in the right direction, the faster their relay exchanges are going to be and the faster their first 15 meters is going to be. Hi everyone, Andrew here, helping you help your swimmers get faster. And in this video, we're talking relay exchanges, the key principles, the key skills swimmers need to learn in order to have a great one. Well, the actual start of a relay exchange can seem really complicated because there's a lot of moving parts. We're going to focus on the key underlying principles so that you can understand what swimmers really have to do, and that will help you design more effective strategies to actually improve their relay exchanges. Before we dive into the video, I want to go over the big concept that's really critical to understand. That concept is momentum. The biggest difference between a block start and a relay exchange is momentum. When swimmers are on the blocks, they have zero momentum, and they've got to generate a lot of force to get their body moving. And because they're starting from rest, they're only going to be able to move it so much, so fast, and that's going to limit how far they can get off the blocks. In contrast, during a relay exchange, swimmers can step back and then they can move forward, and the more momentum they can move forward down the block until they get into the position where they're actually doing their start, the more speed they're going to carry off the block, the more force it's going to go into the block, and the faster they can get down the pool. Once they're airborne, the start is basically the same, but the more momentum they can create, the more speed they can create on the block, the faster and further they're going to be able to get out. And so again, momentum is the key word. When swimmers are executing a relay exchange, they have to create as much momentum as possible, and they want that momentum to be moving them down the pool. Let's check it out. So let's watch this exchange here so we can see what aspects of the start create momentum and the mistakes that swimmers can potentially make. So by having the foot back behind the wedge, by having the body back further, that's going to give them more space to run up, to create momentum, to get forward down the block, to generate speed, to get off the block. If swimmers stand with both feet on the edge of the block, they're not going to be able to generate any speed because they're not going to be able to move their body forward. They can use the arms, but they're only going to be able to use the arms. So in contrast, this swimmer is going to step forward and they're going to take a big step, and that's going to get them a lot of momentum moving down the block and a lot of momentum forward. So that big step, you can see the body's already moving forward, and that's going to help generate momentum to get them off the block further and faster. Now, what are some of the key elements that determine how well a swimmer does that? So the first thing is that the faster the foot moves, the faster he steps over, the more momentum he's going to have. So if he's really patient with this step, it's going to have less momentum. It's going to take more time. He's not going to generate as much speed. So he wants to step as fast as he can under control in order to create as much momentum as possible. And that'll get him off the block faster. The second aspect is the direction of the foot step. So if the swimmer steps up, and this swimmer is doing a little bit of it, it's not too bad, but if he steps up, momentum's going to be going up instead of momentum to be going forward. And so as much as possible, swimmers want to step forwards across the block, and they want to step with as much momentum moving forwards. And obviously, they need to be careful of not clipping the block, so they do need to lift up with the leg a little bit, but if they can do so without lifting the body up, that's going to help create more momentum. So if he takes this step here, and his whole body rises up, and he does rise up a little bit, but it's not too bad. But if you can imagine, he takes that step and rises up, that's going to kill his momentum. It's going to be moving in the wrong direction. You want it moving forward. And along those lines, what he does with the arms is going to be important too. So it's the same principles. The faster he can swing his arms, the more momentum he's going to have, which is going to send him forward. And so a mistake that a lot of swimmers make is they'll start the arm swing, and then they'll kind of pause and wait, as opposed to just whipping it through and really sending it. He does a pretty good job here. You just want swimmers to be aggressive to get off the block fast. Another issue of momentum is if he starts to swing and those arms swing up and that carries the body up, that's going to move the body in the wrong direction. We want him going down the block. We want him going out. So this swimmer rises a little bit here, but then he stops it right there. So what you see sometimes is that the arms rise up and then the body keeps rising up, and they almost stand up and step forward, which is the exact opposite of what they want to do. Everything needs to be moving forward off the block, and that's going to create as much momentum, as much speed as possible. The better job swimmers can do that, the more speed they'll have, the faster they're going to get off the block, the further down the pool they're going to get, and that's going to help them create as much speed as they can. So when swimmers do a relay exchange, it can be really easy to get caught up in a lot of the noise surrounding what's happening. But the key ideas are to create as much momentum to get forward down the block, to get off the block as fast and as powerfully as possible. And that starts with the step. The step should be relatively low. It shouldn't raise the body up, and the step should be fast. Second aspect of it is the upper body. The arm swing needs to be a full commitment. Once the arms go, they need to go and they need to accelerate as opposed to kind of slowing and stopping them. And the second thing is the arms need to stay low and they shouldn't pull the body up as they swing. It should be a swing that moves them forwards rather than up. And again, that's going to create all the momentum that gets them down the pool. And so a lot of these issues can be related to timing because swimmers aren't sure when to start. They just start, they realize they're too early, and then they slow their momentum, and that's going to kill the start. So swimmers have to know when to go, and then when they go, they need to go. They have to keep it low, they have to keep it moving forward, and they can't really slow down because that's going to kill their momentum. Obviously, if they totally mistime the start and they're going to disqualify unless they slow down, they want to slow down to make sure it's a legal start. However, that's not an optimal start. So when helping swimmers learn relay exchanges, it's all about momentum. Swimmers want to get as much as they can because that's what differentiates it from a regular start. They're going to do that by stepping forward aggressively, stepping low aggressively, swinging the arms aggressively, and swinging the arms low aggressively. That'll keep everything moving forward rather than up, and that's going to create a really fast, really effective start. For more about what swimmers should do when they enter the water and how to execute really great dolphin kicks, check out the video below.